Hello, welcome to the Fireside Chat, where we tell you nothing but the most wild horror stories that we can find on the internet or beyond. Tonight, we have a tale for you about lighthouses. This tale tonight is called Lighthouse in the Woods. Does everyone like this choice? Does everyone like this choice? By the way, these are my friends for the evening. Joining us, we have Zach.
Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
Over here, we have Alicia. How's it going?
AKA Alice.
I'm eating chocolate.
Yee. Yeah. And the lovely camera woman, we have Trish.
Hey guys,
Hello.
what's up?
And this is your very sweaty overlord Mike, about to give you the tale of a lifetime. Now, without further ado, is everyone ready?
See.
Yes.
No.
No? Well, you better strap on your heckin' underpants.
Oh yeah.
They're getting ready. Okay, boom.
Yes.
All right. The trip to my mother's is an arduous one. The journey's length is not entirely the fault of sheer distance, but rather the perilous winding labyrinth of roads that twist through the thick New England woods. Nestled deep within Maine, Pine Hill claims the title as one of the state's oldest logging towns, and so unique was this town's isolation that one could drive all day once exiting Route 59 in Bridgewater and still not arrive at the dilapidated general store, sitting dutifully at the heart of the small collection of wooden cabins and old machinery. Pine Hill had its fair share of history, but since most of the industry moved to upstate New York in the late 60s, it had largely fallen off the map, becoming even more isolated than it used to be. Having grown up in the town and witnessing its decline, I always felt as though this solemnity of the endless pine forest was not as unforgiving as many of the fleeting members of the community so vocalized. My mother never felt so lonely. Situated upon Red Hawk Hill, a short 20-minute drive from the general store and therefore the town itself. When my father left her, she had told me in a fit of crying that he didn't just leave her, but the life they had built together in Pine Hill. And so it was of great surprise to me that the day after Hurricane Sue had wiped out the last infrastructure of the small community, she had called me, her voice frail but resolute in her wish to finally leave the area and come live in Connecticut with my fiancé and me. I'd thought she'd die there. It was late August when Alice and I packed moving crates into the 1994 Honda my father had left me and began the long road trip from our suburban stronghold in North Connecticut. I knew, of course, she didn't want to do this. She didn't want to lose a weekend to chores, but she came all the same, never once complaining about my mother or the musky smell of her deteriorating home. I loved her for this and many reasons. She had wanted an autumn wedding, and I'd wanted to please her in any way I could. When I had asked her to marry me earlier that year, I told her that she was the most fascinating and special person in my life, and without her, I would fade away. She jumped into my arms and kissed me so hard I could still feel the blood pounding in her lips. The first leg of the trip ended quickly, with me in the driver's seat as the concrete playgrounds of the more densely populated areas slowly crept away from the highway and were replaced with large expanses of wheat and grass, highlighted by the occasional cow. It was midday, and the sun beat down on the green pastures in ways that brought great waves of heat to my attention. When we finally veered away from Route 59, it was late afternoon, and our trip was only half over. Before we knew, we were driving underneath the boughs of countless pines, their green mass of branches obscuring the soft pink hue of the sunset. The automatic headlights came on, and the station we had tuned into left the range. A deep silence grew between my fiancé and me.
Miscommunication.
When driving through the woods at night, one's mind starts to wander. The headlights of the car interact with the matrix of tree trunks in ways to assess the jumps in conclusion so typical of the dark. In your mind's eye, a simple bush or knot becomes a face. Someone unaccustomed to the woods can suffer this in the most extreme fashion. The headlights carve swaths of visibility into the utter darkness of the woods, like two spotlights endlessly searching. In these illuminated parts, your eyes can utter indescribable things, but only for a moment. For in the next, there is a new area under scrutiny, and the things that were seen previously have all but faded into memory and the pines. My fiancée broke the silence with a slight gasp. Not one that was forced, but a gasp of an involuntary nature. What was that? Did you see that? Her voice lacked the surefire confidence it normally exuded, and it perturbed me. It was frail and worried. I could only pay it off casually, but so queer was this reaction from her, I instantly knew something was amiss. A deer? No, not a deer. It was like a dog. It looked right at me. Not a dog, but a person? The woods has an unforgiving nature to those unfamiliar. Babe, a coyote or a wolf, I promise. I know what a coyote looks like. I know what they are. What that was, it wasn't either. I consciously loosened my grip on the steering wheel. It was sweaty. This drive always has me seeing things. It's been a long day. Take a nap. When you wake up, we'll be there. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see her face. The face of the woods. I remembered this drive. The acceleration of each turn was calming to some degree, and even the stress emanating from Alice's new curled-up body began to subside. It was hypnotizing. The weight of the steering wheel and the response of the pedal. So hypnotizing, in fact, that when my eyes fell upon the milky white orbs of the woods, I could barely register. Eye contact is something innate. Every human comes hardwired with the understanding that eye contact is an innate experience shared between two conscious beings. A split second can feel like an hour-long argument, or a night of romance, even an inside joke. That eye contact that I felt with this creature was, for lack of better words, violating. It took the trust and mutual understanding of gazing into someone's thoughts and turned into an assault. An assault on my core ideology. An attack on not who I was, but who I wanted to be. There was a horror in it. A horror that started outside my awareness. And by the time I understood what was going on, I was screaming. Yelling without purpose. It had taken something from me. Stolen something. What's happening? What's going on? It was there. I saw it there in the woods. I heaved and choked out the words. The car slowed to a crawl. The two spotlights illuminating the trees finally found their target. The coyote? No. That wasn't a coyote. I told her what I saw. The milky white eyes situated vertically over a wide, fleshy smile. An exaggerated human mouth, drooling and foaming. It wasn't a dog, though. It was a hyena. A hyena with eyes the size of ping-pong balls and the vertical, flat face of a person. Its smile. The way it looked at me. Alice cut me off. Like it knew you. It knew everything about you. I started driving again. We sat in silence for a long while, neither of us knowing how to proceed in this situation. After what seemed like an interminable quiet, Alice cut the tension with her now ragged voice. How far is your mother's? 45, 30 minutes now? It's hard to tell at night. We don't have a single landmark. The woods just seem to go on in perpetuity. Will it be safe there? What do we need to do? We need to talk about this, Martin. We'll be safe there. There are neighbors and my mother. I trailed off, lost in thoughts of the white boxy teeth grinning at me. Your mother can't even move by herself. What the hell is she gonna do? Listen to me, Alice. You and I both saw what we saw, but we still have no idea what it was or what it was capable of. For all we know, it was a man in a mask or a wild animal. Everything is going to be just fine. My words filled the empty car, lingering long after they had dissipated. They didn't sound like me, though. They belonged to someone else. A liar. I'm gonna put on the radio. Let's focus on something else. As I reached for the stereo, I forced an exhale. A long, deep breath to let out all the tension and fear I had been building since Alice first saw the creature. And just as my brain lost oxygen and my mind focused on nothing, Alice screamed. A massive thud battered the top of the car. Oh God, oh God. There was blood on the windshield. The brakes whined. Alice and I had got out of the car, still in shock. The surrounding forest was pitch black. The headlights of the car fixed on the road ahead, their beams of yellow luring the countless insects into view. The front of the car was bent and bruised. Blood coagulated on the bumper and windshield. Alice and I turned and looked behind us. A trail of blood tracked 15 feet behind, then vanished. It's alive, Alice muttered. She stalked back to the car, a lighthouse peering through the black void. All doubt had left me. All semblance of control was gone. I drove in a panic. Something was out there, hopefully curled up, dying. I accelerated into each turn, faster, faster. Almost in jest, Alice spoke. Is that you? Did you shit yourself? She was beyond all comprehension. Martin, did you shit yourself? No. Don't understand what you're getting at. Jesus, it smells like your mother's. Like shit and mildew. The cork was gone. My heartbeat pounded in my lips. I screamed at the woods. Crazy? Do you know what's crazy? How we failed this test? We have failed. And now you are still failing us. We need to stay calm. She looked at me with eyes on fire. Then she covered her mouth and nose with her shirt. Suddenly, I smelled it too. The thought crossed my mind. In my moment of terror, had I shit myself? I checked, to no success. And the smell got worse. Louder, angrier. Alice began to cough. Roll down the windows, she yelled. I pawed at the door controls, the smell blinding me. The stench, this putrid miasma circulating the cabin, its origin unknown. It choked me. I couldn't get a whole breath in.
Shit.
Each spasm my diaphragm produced only worsened the effect. I had never considered the horror of choking to death. How terrifying it is. How claustrophobic. I slammed on the brakes and flew open the door. The car screeched to a stop and we stumbled to the dirt road onto our knees. Alice was throwing up, retching. The sound of her stomach convulsing, her body expelling something foul. She was crying. I was too. The woods echoed back. Our wails filled the forest. The gravel sunk into my palms as I scrambled over to Alice. Never had I felt so powerless, so lost. What entity could be stalking us, terrorizing us in ways we couldn't grasp? Alice's hair brushed against my face. I heard the car door slam. I looked up. The tires screeched and the engine roared. The lighthouse disappeared into the forest. And that's the end of the tale. Lighthouse in the forest.
That's so cool.
Well, that's so cool. So the lighthouse was the car the whole effing time.
Is that the brand of the lighthouse, like the car?
No.
The lighthouse?
No, because the light because they used it as like a metaphor.
I feel violated that my name was in that. I feel
Alice.
violated. It was personal. It's personal.
So we should probably get this fire back good and going for the
Yeah.
next tale. That's actually about Lighthouse.
Sometimes you just gotta spank the fire.
I love
Spank that fire. Yeah!
Oh my god, be careful. Mike
You
is right
dirty
there.
fire.
Right?